Okay, ladies, gentlemen, and our non-binary friends, please welcome your host for this evening, Danica Lani!
Hello, look at all your beautiful faces. Hi. Just a reminder, this is not television. So, hi. Hi, great, excellent, welcome, amazing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to welcome Sharon up to do an acknowledgement of country, because we're gathering here on Aboriginal land, and we want to remember that Aboriginal land was stolen here and sovereignty was never ceded. So please welcome Sharon. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I can't sing, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I'm the co-founder of a little business called Winanga Guru. Is that on? Yes. There we go. So, and Winanga Guru means to listen, to go slowly, and to respect everything. So my traditional people are Kamilaroi, whose country lays within northern New South Wales through to southern Queensland, stretching from the Hunter Valley through to Nindigully in Queensland and far west to the Warrabungle Mountains near Coonabarabran, sweeping across the Liverpool Plains. So if you have the opportunity, check out the Aboriginal map and you'll see the lands that I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So just a little bit about my family and where my mother come from. So my grandparents were born in Moree and Corindai in New South Wales. Shortly after their marriage, they moved to Charleville, southwest Queensland. My grandfather worked as a stockman, a camp cook, and a station manager. My mother, aunts, and uncles were born on the Yumba, a camp on the fringes of town. My mother commenced her working life as a Jillaroo at the age of 13. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Gadigal and the Wangal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past and present, and I also acknowledge my fellow brothers and sisters that are here tonight. So thank you.
Yes, the message stick. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. So welcome, everyone. You are here at this event at Bambuddha and the Working Kind Collective called Ask Anything. Yes. Can I hear a cheer? Oh, yeah. Can I hear a, oh, yeah. Okay. Can I hear a pride? Okay. Oh, my gosh. So engaging and so obedient. Loving this. Okay, well, welcome everyone, and let let me introduce myself so you know who I am. And I'm going to start by declaring this a safe space. This is a safe space. Okay, we put on this event so that we can create a dialogue. In dialogue, we discover new things with each other, and this is a safe space for you to be here. You can be any way that you need to be. Please make yourself at home. Mikaza sukaza, this is our home, this is your home. So please, make yourself at home while you're here, okay? So let me introduce myself. I want to tell you my story. You'll hear a lot of people's stories tonight, and this is my story. So I was outed when I was 17 in a country town at high school. And the change in how people saw me and how people related to me was instant. It was like this brick wall just went up. And a gay kid returned to our town and he got beaten up up the street. And my girlfriend and I were terrified. We left as soon as we could. And we found liberation and community at university, where I was training full-time as a dancer. And I became a feminist activist. And after a couple of years, yeah, can I have a whoop for that? Yeah, feminist activist. But anyone else relate to this one? After a couple of years, burnt out. Can I get a whoop for a burnt out? Yes. Yeah. And after moving back in with my parents for some months back in the country, on my 21st birthday, my mum, in all good faith, put me on the train from Wangaratta to Melbourne, and I was homeless and bedridden for 6 months as a 21-year-old. Yoga saved my life. Any yogis in the room? Anyone else great experience with yoga? Yes, we've got some fans waving here. I like how flamboyantly that is being done. And then after several years of living in the bush, 26 k's out of the nearest town, no phones, no electricity, no running water, and living on the land, I healed. And then many years later, I fell in love with my spouse, Chris, and we met during a drag king group. Yeah, thank you. Can I get a whoop for a drag king? I started doing a drag king performances in 2011, but many years later I met my spouse Chris, and they did a Patrick Swayze slide on the floor on their knees at the second rehearsal. And like all good lesbian relationships, we started dating on the next rehearsal. And we're now married, and since we've been married, they have been on an incredible gender journey, and they've come out as non-binary and trans-masc. And that's been a journey we've both been on together. And, you know, in our whole commitment, we share a commitment to empowering the LGBTQIA community. And we do that through various ways while having a beautiful and great life together with our beloved daughter. So I've had a colourful career in entertainment, in music, in dance and choreography, and a decade of teaching yoga, as well as an 18-year career in coaching and facilitation. And I am known as the King Coach. I'm also known as Daddy Joy, and the mother of drag kings. And my whole business is dedicated to empowering LGBTQIA people to feel good in the body so that we can be 100% at home in our own skin. Yes. Thank you. So that's a little bit about me so that we could, you know, feel like we can get to know each other. Yeah. And I'd like the magic clicker. Anyone else want a magic clicker in your life? Yes, okay. Maybe later we can discuss what we would do with the magic clicker and what would happen in life if we all had magic clicker. So there we are, there's me. My pronouns are S/he. I'm bi-gender in my gender identity, which means both, means all of it. So Through my Tantra studies, I discovered that I have a physical body that is female and my energetic body is male. So I'm bi-gender. Ooh. Want to play a game? Yes. Okay, so we're going to start the night off with a bit of a game. And this is going to include some participation. You've all been great already, so this will be a breeze. So, okay, here's the game. Who can tell me the names for all the acronyms in LGBTQIA+? Not you. Put your hand down. You already know. Not you. No, sorry. I've got the power. I've got the mic, so I'm going to... Anyone else? Who would give it? Yes, my friend, please. Come up. Yes, please. Give this person a round of applause. Look how beautiful she's looking in her green outfit. Oh, and the fan. Give us a wave if you've got a fan. Yes, we've got some fans in the audience. I love it. Give us a go. What have you got?
Can you do the letters?
Yeah, okay, we'll make this easy. L.
Lesbian.
Lesbian. Yay! Okay, good. We're off to a good start. L. G.
Gay.
Gay. Any gays in the house? Yes. Okay. Woo! Wave those fans. Okay. L. G. B.
Bisexual.
Yes. We're our bisexuals in the house. Woo woo! Thank you. L. G. B. T.
So transgender.
Yes, trans. We're our trans siblings. Woo woo! Okay, LGBT. Q.
Who is queer?
Queer. Can we get our hands up for our queers? Woo woo! LGBTQI.
Intersex.
Yes, our intersex siblings. Woo! LGBTQIA.
Ooh, I know you've stumped me there.
Asexual! Oh my God! You win the prize! You win the prize! So you have won because it's Fair Day this weekend, you have won a picnic blanket to sit on at Fair Day! Amazing. All part of the Sydney WorldPride and Mardi Gras events that are happening from the next couple of weeks. Who's exhausted already? Okay, not just me. Great. Okay, thank you. Well done. And any bonuses for who knows what the plus means? Allies, yes. And anyone else? We're an inclusive community. We can't stand leaving anyone out. We have to be like, and you. Please, come in. Very good. The LGBTQIA plus game. Excellent. Congratulations. Well done. Okay. So this event and this whole space wouldn't have come together without our sponsors and our partners whom we're really, really grateful for. The first one that I want to acknowledge is Bambuddha. Bambuddha Group. With the Bam and the Buddha together. So, and thank you to AJ and the entire team. There's a whole team of people there working to make these events happen. So thank you very much. And we also have our headline sponsor, VA Media and We Are Pride channel on YouTube. So please check them out. I want to acknowledge some more partners that we have. Here we have the Kings of Joy. Oh, that would be me and my business. Yeah, the Kings of Joy. The Working Kind Collective, which is this space here. And so many people have contributed to this space here. So thank you very much. Bambuddha, VA Media, the We Are Pride channel. I'd like to acknowledge Dan Murphy's and Young Henry's and Stories That Stir. So just a little word on our drink sponsors, and I hope that you've really made yourself at home. There is a fridge there. Please help yourself, okay? So Young Henry's, they're the company who are doing it for the people. Yeah, doing it for the people. And Dan Murphy's, who provides us with sustainable wine. So thank you very much. We like a bit of sustainability. Who doesn't like a bit of a sustainability? Give us a click. Give us a click. I've got the magic clicker. Now we want to see the clicks. Good. Excellent. I want to thank Stories That Stir. Monica, yes, Monica is an incredible coach who worked with a lot of the speakers tonight to create stories that really do stir. And I hope that you do get stirred by the stories tonight. Please make sure you meet Monica tonight and say hello. Our incredible food service, Jamaican Delights, yes, woo-hoo, in the house. Amazing. Thank you so much for feeding us, for nourishing us. You're amazing. Really appreciate you. We have a special collaboration tonight with a friend of ours, Chris O'Brien. Yes. Chris is an artist and Chris is an ally. And I want to tell you a little bit about Chris. You can see a beautiful photo of him here, and we've got some incredible artworks. This is Chris's first exhibition ever. Ever. So let's give a round of applause there for Chris. Chris has an incredible story. He grew up, he had ADHD as a kid, got into trouble, got into prison. And during prison, he rediscovered and reignited his passion for art and painting. So he belongs to a company here called Mates on the Move. Any other mates on the move here? Yeah, give us a whoop-woo for our mates. Yay, nice to see you again, my friends. So please, go and check out Chris's artwork tonight. It is available for purchase. You might see something that really resonates with yourself, and I know he's done a beautiful work of adding the rainbow kind of theme and colours into the work. So thank you so much, Chris. We're so proud of you. Amazing work. Clicker. I just have a hot tip. Don't put a magic clicker on a black call it the big gay season, the big silly season, the big pride season. And we have the gay Christmas, thank you. And we have fans. We have, what's in these merch bags? Someone bring something up. Let's have a look. We've got fans. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. We've got lots of merch. See, don't you feel the pride? Can't you feel the pride? Wow, amazing. Look, we got one of these. Got a cap. Yeah. Good. We got a flag. Okay, wearable flag. Also wearable cape. It's a cape as well. Yeah. So, and some fans. Bits and bobs. What's this little thing? A little key ring. Who doesn't love a key ring? So you will be set tonight. We just wanted to set you up, empower you to, start the season on a bang. So that's where you can go get your merch. Grab your party pack. Oh, here we are.
It hurts so badly when we think of what life has done to us.
We want to leave it behind, but we don't have the...
It hurts so badly when we think of what life has done to us.
We want to leave it behind, but we don't have the courage to run.
We try not to look back, for it's the past, and just look straight, for there is our path.
But yes, there are times in all of our lives when we feel like as though no one truly knows us.
Although sometimes we feel so related, like the world has drained us for everything that we had.
And become insane with long intervals of horrible sanity.
With the queers of joy, we feel so much stronger than we have ever been before.
We are putting the nights behind us so we can open new doors.
Because we now believe that this pain will be useful to us.
And that everyone, in some way or another, experiences a kind of thing.
We are being changed
by the love from the queers of joy.
I know we went into that with no context at all, but these are our friends here at Block 13. So I wanted to share with you about our friends here. So these people are LGBTQIA and they're refugees. And they're living in Kakuma, Kenya, in one of the world's largest refugee camps. There's 200,000 people who are living in these camps. So I do want to share with you about them. There were some beautiful faces there, faces that I'm very familiar with. I speak with these people once a fortnight on Zoom and listen to their stories, but I want to tell you their story. So Lucretia is a trans woman, a young trans woman. She calls herself a human rights defender. And she was living in Uganda. And one night, while meeting up with her lover, they got discovered. And her lover was murdered. And while she's reeling from this tragedy, she was forced to flee the country to avoid the same fate. And so she fled Uganda and she ran to Kakuma in Kenya, only to find herself in another hellhole, another version of hell, where hate crimes and discrimination continued and continue to this day, unfortunately from other refugees and from the authorities in the camp. So when she arrived, after a couple of nights of finding herself in 2 different houses where she was attacked, she found Block 13, a section of the camp where a group of LGBTQIA people have gathered together for safety and protection and to live together in the camp. This was a huge relief. So there are about 56 adults living in Block 13 and their children. And they provide support and safety for each other, all the while being treated and related to like they're subhuman by other refugees in the camp and the authorities. And they're discriminated against because of their gender, because of their sexuality. And when they go to the water well to get fresh water, they're told they have to go to the back of the line. And so they have to go to the back of the line and drink the dirty water at the end of the queue. And because of this, they end up having malaria and typhoid running through their group over and over again. Life is a constant struggle. So during one of the lockdowns that we had here in Sydney, my spouse, Chris, who founded the show Queers of Joy, and we have one of our other co-producers here, Malaika Mfalme, who is a co-producer of Queers of Joy. And Queers of Joy is a celebration of trans and gender diverse artists here in Sydney. And so we created a community and put on an incredible show of authenticity and courage. And we took that show online during one of the lockdowns. And Lucretia found us online. We had people from all over the world buying tickets. Trans people in Pakistan bought tickets. Trans people in America and Europe. Then Lucretia found us and she came across Queers of Joy, and she couldn't watch the whole show live because of the rainstorms interfering with the network there. But soon after, she got in touch with Chris and she expressed her curiosity about the name Queers of Joy. She was like, I can't understand these 2 words together, queer, joy, queer and joy. I've never heard those words put together in that way, because being queer for her had meant terror and devastation as a result, just for being the person that she is. So Chris sent her the recording, and a group of people in Block 13, they're living in the desert. When we met them, they had no shelter, no mattresses. One of their shelters had been petrol bombed and burnt to the ground. And they gathered around this tiny phone and they watched the Queers of Joy show. And something amazing happened. They felt the joy, they felt the love and the authenticity, and they got up and they started dancing. And Lucretia told us that she hadn't seen smiles on people's faces like that for a long, long, long time. Long time. So this was the beginning of a mutually beneficial relationship and camaraderie between Lucretia and some of the people that we saw there, Festo, Farhad, Umar, Shifra was up there as well, Juliet, and ourselves. And we started a weekly Zoom meeting with them. and we listened to their stories with horror. It was really harrowing to hear their stories, really harrowing experience, but what matters more is to listen and to take action where we can. So they started making videos like this one for Queers of Joy, for the shows. They were reading poetry and lip syncing, and it's this juxtaposition of the joyful expression in the West compared to the harsh reality of what they're facing in Africa. It's truly heartbreaking. But despite this, Lucretia and her friends at Block 13, they've not become bitter. They're not bitter towards the people who persecute them, which is quite extraordinary. And it's just like not in their bones to be haters, you know? And they're simply focused and committed to living a life true to themselves, true to their gender, their sexuality, and living as an authentic person. And while there's no light at the end of the tunnel yet, as they haven't been granted refugee status, so they can't even apply for asylum in a safer country. They're literally in a loophole, they're stuck there. And some of them have been there for up to 5 years. And at times they've reached absolute desperation point. And in that first October that we met them, they were down to their last cup of rice until Christmas to feed 56 adults and their children. And it's been through our ongoing friendship and partnership that we've been able to provide support and raise money, funds for them, essential funds, and that this has had a significant impact on their lives and the community living there. So they've been able to rebuild their shelter. They started a school for their kids. Since then, they've been able to buy mattresses and beds and, you know, buy essential things like medication for dealing with malaria and typhoid and food, just all the things that we take for granted, you know. So I wanted to use they've installed lights that help them protect themselves from these regular attacks that happen during night. And tonight is a fundraiser for our friends at Block 13. So each and every one of you is making a difference by being here and hearing their stories. And I wanted to use my platform here, my space here, to share about their stories and amplify our friends' voices. Our mission is twofold. Firstly, to support them in surviving the camp. And secondly, we are a stand that they are granted asylum in a safer country and that is prioritised due to the discrimination that they're experiencing in the camp. And one day, we know, and we talk about this often, that we are going to be somewhere on a dance floor together, dancing and supporting each other, hugging and celebrating together the freedom that they're experiencing like never before. So tonight you have an opportunity to contribute and make a difference to these incredibly resilient people, and whatever amount of money that you can contribute, it'd be gratefully received, and it directly impacts their ability to survive. So we want to see them not only survive but thrive, so please give as generously as you can. So here's a moment in tonight's proceedings where we give you full permission to get out your phone. So you're welcome to get out your phone now, and you can go to the website here, www.freeblock13.com, and donate. And whatever you can donate will be gratefully received. It will directly impact their ability to survive in the camp. So, and like I said, I wanted to use today and tonight to share about their stories and amplify the voices of other people who are not living in such fortunate circumstances as myself and many of us here. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening to that story, and I acknowledge that, you know, that's a difficult story to listen to at times. So thank you for your listening and your hearts and your generosity, and thank you for those of you who are taking action. That will make a massive difference to our friends at Block 13. Thank you. Okay, so we met Sharon briefly before, but I'd like to give Sharon Gray a proper introduction. Sharon is a Kamilaroi, thank you, Kamilaroi of Scottish descent, and she grew up in Toowoomba, Queensland, where she began her studies and early career focusing on improving education, training and career opportunities for Aboriginal Australians. She is an accomplished Indigenous leader with experience in driving cultural inclusion and diversity transformation in education, government and industry. Sharon is motivated by her desire to see equality for all Australians with diversity and inclusion at the core of society. Her personal motto is education, awareness and action. So let's hear from Sharon and can't wait to hear your story. Thank you so much. Yeah, come up the side there.
Okay, so, and we got a clicker? All right. Magic clicker. All right, I'll put my glasses here. I don't think I'll need them.
Great.
All right. How does the clicker work? Okay. All right, I've got to hold it close. I have my sister in the audience who's going to coach me through. Yeah. All right. Hey, sis. Yes. She calls me sis. I call her Sissy, and she calls me Sisso. So, yeah. Okay. So I already mentioned earlier what Wananga Guru means. So I'll say it again: to listen, to go slowly, and to respect everything. You may have heard of a concept called deep listening. You may have known a lady, an Aboriginal elder by the name of Miriam Rose, who got Elder of the Year a couple of Australia Days ago. And she speaks about Didiri. So when you think about Didiri, in Kamilaroi language, Winagar Guru is our form of deep listening. Okay, I'm not going to read everything on the slide. It's pretty much our capability statement. But just to share a little bit about who we are and where we came from. So originally it was co-founded by my daughter and myself. So my daughter is at home. Actually, she's just sent me a message and said she's at the pub with my 3-week-old grandson. Anyway, woohoo! So I'm now Nana Shaz. So we've done our collaboration based on our skill set. So as mentioned earlier, my skill set is cultural capability and building cultural capability within the corporate sector. I began my journey early in life as an educator and then evolved now into working in the corporate sector and now also running Wananga Guru. My daughter is she's a historian and a researcher. That's her trade. So she's also an archaeologist on top of that. And more recently, my sister has returned back to Australia from being overseas for many years. And my sister's skill set, which we've now added to our collaboration, is journalism, media, copyright, I don't know, the whole jolly works around brand. So, yes. So, you know, a picture tells 1,000 words. So, as I said, I'm not going to go and read everything that's on the page, but just to share a little bit about who we are. So, the photos, we got, does this have a red light on it? Oh, I think I've done something wrong. Okay, we'll just point. Okay, so the lady with the dress with the flowers on it, that is my nan, or was my nan. She's up top now. And the fellow who looks a bit like a stockman, working on a leather belt, I believe. In his, he had a shed out the back of the backyard, and that was his work shed where he made leather belts, saddles, key ring holders, the whole lot. And his whips are still in the Stockman Hall of Fame up in Longreach. So we look at the other photo underneath my grandmother. So this is some of my aunts and my uncles, but my mother is there. So my mother is the one. Are you sure there isn't a red thing here I can use? No. Okay, so there's a tall lady in the middle with black shorts and a white top, and that's my mum, or our mum. And then the rest are my aunts and uncles. And then the other photo that you see, I call this where the Beatles meet the Supremes. So this is my mother and my father, okay? And look at that beehive, hey? Like, that's pretty cool. And Dad, oh. Anyway, should have seen them dance back in the day too. Dad still thinks he can dance. Anyway, so, and then you see the coloured photo. That is a gazebo, and that gazebo had been built by two of my uncles. Now, back in 2018, September 2018, in Charleville, on Bidgera country, the yumba was handed back to the traditional owners. Now, as mentioned, we are Kamilaroi, and most of the people that lived on the yumba, they were not just Bidgera people. So there was a combination of Aboriginal people who moved there for various reasons. We won't go into that tonight. It's a conversation for another time. So in remembrance of where the little place where my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and my mum lived, my uncles built this gazebo as a reminder. Now, they didn't have a house, so I just need to make that really clear. So what they did have was a little tin shack. Not all four walls were covered, and if they were covered with a hessian bag and with a dirt floor. So, and I'm only talking about 1950, so not that long ago. Okay, now we move across to my daughter. So, okay, so she did graduate. I must say she was going through childhood. She was a very good child, but her teenage years, we won't even go there. But she has managed to graduate. She has 2 degrees, currently working on a thesis. I made me a nana. So up the top, that was Nina when she was a baby with her grandmother on her father's side, who she calls Gremio. Down the bottom, that is Nina with her father. The photo that's a little bit dark, where she's standing amongst some ancient ruins, which she is, where she was on a dig in Israel. So she's been to Israel on a number of occasions. So firstly as a student, then she went back and just went on the archaeological dig, and third time she actually went back and lectured, so which sort of really spins me out. And then the other photo, which you can see, I probably don't need to say too much, but back in 2017, I took my mother and Nina on a trip to New Zealand. And my mother and Nina had this massive fascination with Lord of the Rings. And in fact, when Nina was 2, Mum was reading Lord of the Rings to Nina. So, of course, one of our little visits in Auckland, we had to go to the party shop and dress up. So that's what's happened. Then next minute, she hires these outfits because I had 2 tickets, 2 days in a row to Hobbiton. First day we just went and had a look around and did the recce. Second day she made us dress up. So, so she's a very talented young lady, but her thesis that she's working on, she has this massive fascination with the Jewish community and obviously her own culture and her Aboriginality, and she can see a synergy between the both. So I won't go into that because I'm still trying to work out what it is, so yeah. And all right, and then, as I mentioned, I've got Sissy in the audience. So, and we'll so I'll just talk through the photos once again. So, so you see 3 young ladies up the top. So the lady in the middle is our mother. Yes, she's holding a cat and then she's got a cigarette in her hand. And then Cheryl and I on either side of her. a few years ago, or many years ago now, when I did have dark hair. My daughter and I actually went across to Abu Dhabi to visit my sister while we were when she was living there. So that's a photo from there. My sister has a young son who's about to turn 9, little Hamza. So we've got Hamza in his Superman outfit, and is it Halloween? Yeah, obviously Halloween. Yep. And then, as I mentioned earlier, my sister's a journo, media, brand, all sorts of things within that whole space, and communications. And so here we have a couple of photos of Cheryl in action, so demonstrating her skill set. And meet Kingsley Clive Riley. He's the newest member of our collaboration. I don't know what he's going to do yet, but we've told him that he cannot sleep on the job, and he needs to be very much aware of those milk comas. So, yes. So that's a little bit about who we are, and who I am, and where I'm from.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Yes, please do not forget your glasses. I might need to borrow them later, so keep them on hand. Great. Thank you so much, Sharon. That was just, wonderful to hear your journey and your story and meet your family. And so precious, so precious. That's that newest member of the team. I think he's going to go places. Yeah. He's got no choice. He's in the family now. He's in the family business. Beautiful. Good. Okay, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Nicolas Steepe. Yes, come on down, Nicolas. Nick, hi, let me introduce you. So, Nick is an equity and diversity and inclusion practitioner holding a position currently with New South Wales State Emergency Service and previously with Charles Sturt University. How do you feel me talking about you like this in third person? Is that okay?
A bit awkward, but keep going. Yeah. Keep going.
Keep going, okay, good. Just checking, yeah. And combining his master's level education and passion for social work, social justice and intersectionality, Nick has been a strong advocate for advancing equity, diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Can I get a hey for inclusion in the workplace? Yes. Great work, Nick. They have been recognised for their achievements in this space, including receiving the Out Role Model Award for the 2019 Australian Workplace Equity Index Awards. How cool is that as a title? I want that, that's awesome. And Nick is authentic, as you'll learn, empathic, and committed to creating a world worth living in. Yes. Demonstrated by various volunteer roles such as the National Scholar Manager for the Pinnacle Foundation, National Regional Manager at Out for Australia, and SydneyWorldPride Committee Member. Please, handing it over to Nick. Woo!
I'm really bad at multitasking. Can I use this one? Yeah, great, thanks.
We'll just do a little switcheroo. Just pretend like nothing else is happening. Great, thanks, Nick.
Are we good? Yeah? We can hear me? Awesome. I'll just get into it because I think that's the best thing for everyone. I was born in Coonabarabran. I lived in Coolah until I was 10 when I moved to Dubbo because our family house burnt down. I medically died, or you can say I officially died for 3 minutes, was resuscitated and flown to Sydney alone for a week due to smoke inhalation. I'm one of 6 kids, right in the middle, and we were raised primarily by a single mum. I've always been viewed as feminine and different, even before I realised I was attracted to the same sex. So as you can imagine, high school was like a super fun time for me. My house burnt down again, I know, what luck, when I was 15, and I was required to move in with my 2 older brothers. I was regularly ostracised and excluded at school because of my sexuality and received constant verbal and emotional abuse from my peers. Because of all of this going on, I became severely depressed and anxious and began self-harming for 3 years. When I first came out, it was because I had a sexual encounter with a male, and my brother, who was 18 months older than me, found out about it. He was quite aggressive, standing over me when he asked if I was gay or what. Coming out as bi for me was the safest option at the time, and his response was, well, if you turn full gay, I will put you in hospital. So that drove me further back into the closet. Because I was living out of home at the time, I got employment part-time to support myself. During high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do after school, even though there was a lot of pressure to choose. I did elect to do society and culture, and it was a relationship with the teacher and through the content that I began to accept my sexuality and feel okay within myself. I was the first in my family to finish Year 12, and my society and culture teacher encouraged me to look into social work. I wanted to run away to Sydney because that's where Mardi Gras was, that's where Oxford Street was, that's where I felt that I would find acceptance and community. But I couldn't financially afford to do this. So I enrolled in social work. During my studies, I started a non-for-profit organisation in Dubbo called Central West Rainbow Alliance, which began with a social launch in 2014, and we held a few gatherings throughout this time. My society and culture teacher also moved to Newcastle and came across an organisation called the Pinnacle Foundation, who provide educational scholarships, mentorships, and opportunities for LGBTQIA+ young people. My notes are out of order. It was the first time I had heard about Pinnacle. I mean, a scholarship for being gay, I'm in. I was lucky enough to be successful in receiving a scholarship and mentorship. My mentor was 2.5 hours away due to regional New South Wales being a little bit lacking in available and willing mentors. Growing up queer, role models in my community were pretty much non-existent. I don't think I realised how much I missed out on until Pinnacle provided it through my mentor. It also showed me how important seeing others like you is, and it really solidified my desire to remain in regional Australia. It's safe to say that while I was doing a lot in the rainbow space, I was still a shy boy who really didn't believe in myself. One thing I'll never forget is rocking up to the Pinnacle Foundation induction weekend in shorts, thongs, and a singlet, like a typical bogan from Dubbo. And who walks in? The Honourable Michael Kirby. Shame. It would be remiss of me not to mention the Rainbow Elders who have come before us, like Michael Kirby, for the hard work, dedication and courage that has allowed Pride to flourish and for me to live authentically and safely wherever I choose to live. In 2015, the last year of my university degree, I received a placement at Headspace Dubbo. Through this, I ran an Ida Hobbit prom for the LGBTQIA+ community in Dubbo, and began the first social support group for young people in the area. I also kind of fell into advocacy around marriage equality because the mayor of the town at the time said something to the effect of, marriage equality is almost irrelevant in Dubbo. Because of all of this happening, I had the idea to do a pride march in the main street of Dubbo. Just to prove that rainbow individuals were in regional Australia and we mattered. I also wanted to celebrate the diversity and inclusion that does exist. The Pride March was held and was a success despite the torrential rain. At the end of my degree, I ended up receiving a full-time job at Headspace Dubbo involving community development and presentations across regional and Western New South Wales, as well as individual clinical practice. We held the second Pride March in Dubbo in 2016, which grew from the previous year. I also accepted a volunteer position on the National Management Committee with the Pinnacle Foundation, supporting the scholars and the organisation around mental health and enhancing the scholar experience. Coinciding with the third third Central West Pride March and undertaking a postgraduate degree in project management was the marriage equality plebiscite. I actively volunteered and distributed resources and information to towns in the Central West, and we won. And even the Parks electorate got a majority. There we go. Sorry, wrong slide. In 2018, I got a job as the Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Advisor at Charles Sturt University in Bathurst and did a lot of work focused on intersectionality of all diverse groups in the towns the university is located. One of my proudest achievements was flying the rainbow flag and then the progress flag on each of the campuses for Ida Hobbit. If I had seen something like this when I was struggling with my sexuality, flying at the campus in Dubbo, it would have been so, so powerful. In 2019 was the completion of my... Sorry, slides. There we go. I received the Out Role Model, as mentioned, at the Australian LGBTQIA Awards. I honestly couldn't believe it. This year also coincided with the completion of my Masters of Social Work, Advanced Practice, with distinction. For someone who never ever thought that I would go to university, this was an incredible feeling of accomplishment. I also found the man of my dreams, who is also a regional man, and made the move from Bathurst to Junee. And for those that don't know, it's down near Wagga Wagga. Oh, and my brother that I mentioned earlier, well, he is now my biggest supporter and has proudly marched with me in Pride events. The fact that his children get to grow up exposed to rainbow people like Uncle Nick and Uncle John fills my heart with so much joy, because to them we're just family. Last year, I was one of 3 people to be an ambassador for the Big Rainbow Project, the first big landmark for LGBTI regional inclusion. I take opportunities to share my story, like the Big Rainbow Project and being part of tonight's panel, because I want to shine a spotlight on how much still needs to be done in the community outside of metro areas. My struggles are unique to me, but unfortunately it's not a unique experience for many Rainbow members in regional areas. I love all things rainbow, glitter, unicorns and sparkles, and I do love my bow ties. I currently own over 100 of them. As you can tell, I'm pretty much an open book, so I'd encourage you to ask absolutely anything tonight. Little shocks me, and chances are I've most likely heard it before. So hopefully you now feel more comfortable to ask anything. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Nick. There are so many exits off this stage. Can we give it up for Nick? Woo! Wow. Nick, I acknowledge you. As a regional person to another regional person, look at your achievements. I hope that you're really proud and really present to that, and really appreciate you sharing. You know, when we share our stories, then we can be known. If you don't share, then you don't get known. So you have to share to be known. So thank you so much, Nick. That was amazing. Now, some of you may have spotted some camera people around tonight, and we have an audience that's going to be seeing this night as well on We Are Pride YouTube. Yay! Isn't that exciting? So if any of you, though, don't want to be on camera, that is completely fine. Just find one of the camera people. Maybe perhaps over here if you could wave, yes. And just let them know if you don't want to be on the camera, that's completely fine, okay? Just remember that this is a safe space. We're also just going to open the garage door, let some of the night air drift in. Yes, thank you. Can I get a yeah for some air in here? Keep using those fans, especially this side of the room. Yeah, good. And if you get overheating too much, you can stand in the doorway over here for a bit, get some cool air. I also wanted to let you know that so far we've raised over $400 for Block 13. So Yes. The night is still young. You can still donate. There's still time. But thank you so much. That will make a massive difference. Oh, plus 500 tickets. So 100% of the ticket sales are going to Block 13 as well. And 20% of the merch sales will go to Block 13 as well, to our friends there. So you're all making a difference. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's see who we have next. Are you having fun? Is this like interesting? And thank you. Here's where you can connect with Nicolas on LinkedIn and also on Instagram. Ooh, why don't we have both? This is a question that many of you may have thought yourself at some point in your life. So let me introduce our next speaker. And if you recognize this slide, you can come on up. Oh, yes, it is Abby. Good. Abby! Abby Pantano. Yes, so let me tell you about Abby. Our next guest is New Mexican born, New Zealand raised and bred, and New South Wales residing, with heritage lines reaching across Mexico, Italy, Germany, and Denmark. What a mix! Don't we love it? And with a diverse history of moving schools and multiple postcode, that feeling of not belonging was actually really strong throughout her upbringing. And it wasn't until she settled in Sydney 13 years ago that she set out to find her people. By day, you will find her supporting a community of socially minded entrepreneurs. By night, she loves to explore the vibrant music, arts, and queer scene that Sydney has to offer. And by weekend, you'll find her camping on a bushwalk or somewhere on the dance floor. Please welcome Abby Pantano.
Hi, everyone. So before we get started, I think it's important that we acknowledge the elephant that's in the room. How fucking good are these pants? Am I right? They're shiny, they're sexy, and they're actually surprisingly functional. So here we go. And then I had another thing happen this morning. So I actually lost my entire makeup bag. And I managed to kind of MacGyver it, but I think my cleverest MacGyver is I actually applied my eyeshadow with a tampon. Right? Working it out. All right, so let's kick off. I had a couple of milestones in 2022. I started a new business. I exited another. I turned 35. I came out to my parents as bisexual. And I'm not saying this away yet. And plot twist, I celebrated my 6th wedding anniversary with my husband. So I met my husband, Ollie, that's a devilishly handsome man in the corner. He's trying to be a wallflower, blend in. So I met my husband, Ollie, 12 years ago on a dance floor. Up until that point, I'd lived a pretty nomadic existence. I'd come over from New Zealand, and I was planning to do some work experience in Sydney, build up my CV before going over to Europe and traveling and, I don't know, becoming a bartender. And the thing was that I met Ollie on this dance floor, and he had just come over from the UK. And he was like, "This is home for me. I'm not going anywhere." So I was at a crossroad, and I was like, what's a little bit longer? I'll stay. So I stayed. 5 years passed. We have a beautiful, strong, handsome dog together. We bought a house together, but still I had this little itch, and we got engaged. And the stars were aligning, and there was a chance for me to go overseas for 3 months and go traveling. But the thing is, Ollie has his business here. He couldn't come with me, so I'd be traveling on my own. And my dad's advice was pragmatic. He said, if you want to travel, travel. But you have to understand that right now you're growing together. And if you travel alone, you may grow apart. So you have to decide, is this a risk that you're willing to take? So I stayed. And I don't regret it a single bit to this day. That's us getting married on the right. So, but it was one of those things where I came to that crossroad again when it came to my sexual identity. Do I grow alone or do I grow together? Recognizing some faces up here. Am I right? Am I right? All right. So, the early days, it started pretty standard behavior with kissing friends at the party. And look, it wasn't like the kind of sexy novel, like, there's the TV show right now called Heartstopper at the moment where they're kissing their friends. It's in the corner, it's beautiful. Yeah, it wasn't that. It was a little bit more like American Pie. Yeah. And this one time at band camp, no, I'm just kidding. So the thing was that something kind of two women kissing is seen as something for the male gaze. So I don't think I really questioned that at the point. But there were some things that made me question a little bit more. Like, for example, my fascination bordering on obsession with Xena, the warrior princess. All right, what a strong, amazing woman. And I have to say, I can't remember a single plot line from any of the episodes, but I do know that every time Xena and Gabrielle sat around a campfire, my heart was beating out of my chest. Just fucking kiss her. Just fucking kiss her. The other thing that I had was a fascination and really it was a crush on, everyone has, people in their year. No, mine was my biology teacher, Miss Burgess. And so Olivia Munn is Miss Burgess in this picture. She actually looked just like Olivia Munn, so I think you can kind of understand. But she was more than just beautiful. She was a leader. She was strong. She was so smart. And I, to this day, don't know if I wanted to be with her or if I wanted to be her. All I know is I was just fascinated with her. Anyway, so the years go on, and I'm continuing to kiss girls at the occasional party. I meet Ollie at 23, and the kissing continues. And now it's a little bit less American Pie, a little bit more Wild Things. And again, it's like, this is a fantasy. This is every man's fantasy. This can't be an issue, right? And Ollie and I would come together afterwards, and he would have spotted me in the wings making out with someone, or maybe it was on the dance floor. I wasn't hiding it, so this was fine, right? But then something changed. The kissing went from the open space to behind closed doors. The energy shifted, I'd crossed a boundary, and I was put on notice. I'd flashed back to that conversation that I had with my dad. I'd booked my one-way ticket, I was boarding the flight. I'd actually taken my seat, but the warning light was on. I needed to actually get off the plane and get back to my marriage if I wanted to keep it intact. So I stayed, and we worked on us. And to be honest, a few months passed and I didn't really have this experience again with another woman. And it didn't mind because I love Ollie and I love our life together. But this moment came, it was actually at a work event. And I had this connection with a woman. And it wasn't a love connection. She was visiting from LA. It wasn't a love connection, but it was intense and it felt like something that I wanted to explore. And Ollie happened to be at that event and he witnessed it. And afterwards, we had a little bit of a chat afterwards. But the thing was that she's in LA, so, what's the point? But 2 months later, we came to this point where I was actually going to LA for work. And so he sat down with me and said, if you want to, you can. All right. So I pack my bags, get all ready. And just my luck, 2 weeks before I get there, she gets into a relationship with another woman. And not just another woman, it was an actress from the L Word, so I had not a single chance in hell. I was like, let that dream go. But it was funny because I suddenly had this recognition that there was a side of me that that could be seen, that could be acknowledged, that maybe I had suppressed, but I didn't realize I was suppressing it. I was happy. And I felt like I was this brick wall, kind of holding up this water, but I didn't really know it was there until Ollie pulled out one brick, just to relieve a bit of the pressure. But suddenly the water's flooding through, and there's little cracks, and the water's trickling through those as well. And I felt just this pressure. I felt it was that inner side of me that wanted to come out, that wanted to be expressed. I would wake up in the middle of the night fantasizing about what the outcomes could be and fearing what the possibilities and what the repercussions could be at the same time. But Ollie gave me that space. I mean, the other thing that I had was actually intense guilt. This is my person, and he's creating this space for me to go and explore with someone else when I've made this commitment to him. And who am I to also go out into a dance floor when maybe someone else is looking for a love connection on the dance floor, and I'm just here to have a good time, baby. So I had a lot of that guilt that I was kind of handling, but we decided to kind of trudge forward. Oh, I've already done that. Let's get forward. No, we're going to go back. So it's an interesting thing being bisexual in a heteronormative relationship. The upside is that we have a lot of fun together. Sometimes the anticipation and the afterglow of having an additional person in the bedroom is just as exciting as the event itself. We are learning to set boundaries, figuring out that what can you push, and then being able to come back and go, I didn't feel quite right about that. Why didn't I feel right about that? Let's reset that boundary. I'll be honest, it is hard fucking work. It's not a low-key, easy, laid-back relationship. But it's one of those things where it's worth a journey for both of us. And to be honest, our relationship is deeper than it's ever been because we're willing to go on that journey together. And so with the ability to be able to set boundaries and for me to play within there, I decided to go together rather than go alone. It meant that Ollie's then given me the ability to go out and explore independently. So this is crazy because I've been in Sydney for like 13 years, right? And I'd been over to Oxford Street just to watch the parade, but not to really get in there. And so last year was the first time I got fully dressed up, went to the parade, went to my first after party. Wow, you guys know how to party. It was like, I felt like I'd come home, that feeling of self-expression, to be surrounded by anyone who could be anyone that they wanted to be. It was so beautiful. But the thing is I'm still trying to find out where I fit. I felt like I was supposed to be there, but at the same time, I'm kind of in, but I'm on the out. And I have a lot of fear. I fear that I'm going to be rejected. I fear that I'm going to be minimized for this part of me that it's been 35 years for me to be able to come out to this point. But I found like a little secret though, which I'll let you in on this, which I think most people know about, but it's been around community. So about 2 years ago, I decided to start building a purpose-driven business community for founders who believed in creating a better world through business. And I found something that's pretty cool, actually. So it turns out that purpose-driven, bisexual businesswoman is a type. All right. So inadvertently, I found my people. The other place that I found my people that I just have to acknowledge is in Anna. Anna, you've helped me find my home in the queer community. You've helped me find my feet. I've been terrified to do this talk because, again, I don't feel like I deserve this space to be up there, but I thank you for giving me the chance to be up here. And I'm so excited to play the fuck out of Pride with you. So there's an African proverb which says, if you want to go far, go alone, or go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My journey started really with my other half giving me space, but then it's moved to me being able to find spaces where I feel like I belong. And just so you know, so last year I went to 2 events. This year I'm going to 7. We are going in, baby. Finding my tribe of people that feel like home to me as well, and that I can support and we can support in turn. And finding those purpose-driven, bisexual business babes and learning the rules of the game in the process. And so, just leaving us, can we just take a moment? So going back to Zena, and what was it? What, did I want to be with her? Or did I want to be her? I mean, I wouldn't mind a little Gabriel. And as I was getting ready today, I was like, actually, you know what? I've got shiny pants and she's got a shiny outfit. My outfit's pretty sexy and she's got a pretty sexy outfit and also surprisingly functional. Am I Xena, the warrior princess? And also, look, I don't have a sword, but I can MacGyver the fuck out of a tampon. Thank you.
Thank you, the magic clicker.
Thank you so much, Abby. That was extraordinary. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing these stories. Thank you for sharing stories that other people will definitely resonate with that don't always get heard from the bisexual community. So really honour you and thank you for sharing so beautifully and vulnerably, and your beautiful husband as well for holding space and being here as well. So thank you so much. Great. Okay. Sorry, Zena, we're moving on. Never fear. Because we have Steph Sands in the house. Woo-hoo! So welcome, Steph. Steph is an accomplished diversity and inclusion, digital transformation and people leader with a long community background through organisations like the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras, which she chaired the board of directors and was a committee member of the Audit and Risk Committee for 10 years. Thank you, Steph. Thank you so much for doing that work. She founded the Women Say Something movement in 2011, which helped spotlight and network diverse women who all strive to ensure gender equity and opportunity through the sharing of personal stories and support mechanisms. She was named a life member of Mardi Gras in 2014, Acon's Community Hero in 2015, and was Out Role Model of the Year finalist at the Australian Workplace Equity Index Awards in 2020. Please welcome Steph Sands, everyone. Pick an entrance, any entrance. Come on up. Do you want the clicker?
No. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's great being here and hearing stories tonight, isn't it? Yeah, really. It's really the personal storytelling from people really does help you connect and help you understand where people have come from. And what was really interesting for me was I got to spend a bit of time with Nick, who I'm actually on the WorldPride committee with, and talk about his experience growing up in regional New South Wales, because I grew up about 2 hours from when he grew up in a very different time. Like, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s in a town called Leeton, which was then had 4,500 people. My father was a 10-pound pom, came over from England on those migration schemes because he met my mum on a cruise ship, because he was working on cruise ships. So he chased her out over here. I grew up on Wiradjuri land, beautiful land, very, very, it is home for me. And I really do acknowledge the Indigenous and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that we all spend our time on, and I hope that we all make our respect to country every time that we can. So I was talking to Nick, and I thought, you know, I think I want to talk about when I came to Sydney from regional New South Wales. And I want to do it in a way that I came to Sydney to do, but I haven't had a chance to do. Because I ran away to Sydney, to come out, true story, but also to be a writer. I wrote plays and short stories, and I had heaps produced down in Wagga Wagga, where I went to university. But I came to Sydney and I got involved in the gay community and the gay lifestyle, and I started doing stuff with Mardi Gras, and writing just sort of fell by the wayside. So 30 years ago, I wrote a short story. It's called Stained Brown Kitchen Cupboards, and it's about how I came out to my mother. And I submitted it for some short story competitions, and it won second place in the Lottle short story competition in 1997-ish. And I'm wondering if I can do something, a first for me, a coming out for me as a writer to you all. Can I read that story to you? All right. Let me read that story to you. No, I'm sorry, I can't memorise it. And you know the other thing about getting old? You need your glasses. You know, and this is what I also, as I was getting ready to come out tonight, was God actually gives you the ability not to see as well, so you don't see the hairs that start growing on your chin as you get older. Anyway, all right. So, stained brown kitchen cupboards. I was sitting on the kitchen bench, legs swinging against the brown cupboards that my father had stained before he died. I can remember Mum yelling to me as a kid for doing this. Now she's just standing there, smoking a cigarette, telling me how much she was going to miss me. I say that I can't stay in this town because I have no career opportunity. I hesitate in telling her the real reason. After years of procrastination, I light up a cigarette in front of her and she doesn't even blink. Years of washing my clothes. I take a deep breath and ask what I should take to Sydney with me. She just says to be careful. I jump down off the bench and I keep packing. Failed again. I had decided the time wasn't right. It wasn't. I can't see the outcome yet. The weeks fly by and I'm due to leave. I know I have to tell her. Well, I don't really. I think she already knows. We cook dinner together before I leave. I don't tell her and drive away with my hatchback full to the roof. The city was a hybrid of colour, of faces without names and streets with no right turns. I find I missed my mother in the arms of my new lover. I call her every second day and tell the same lies. Sometimes I hate the fact that she is my best friend. I look down into the murky black puddle in King Street. I can't see my reflection. I feel bad that the most important thing in my life is hidden. I'm waiting outside a bookshop for my love to return. She likes her books and sometimes we just lie on the bed, her reading and me dreaming. I wish we could lie on my bed at home with my mum, all three of us, laughing. She comes out with an armful and suggests coffee. I know I will stare out the window of the cafe while she thumbs through already thumbed second-hand finds. It's the smell that gets me, almost rotting, but not quite. The scent of many hands and homes before, of secrets and forgotten lives. I prefer the smell of new pages, of clean slates, of new rides. I pay the waitress and we catch the bus. Sameness in warehouse, drift past as we weave our way through Alexandria. She tells me about a dance party where she was feeding. My eyes became dinner plates. I am naive to the ways of the world. I will not tell Mum about this. I will not tell Mum about the difference in my life. I will remain unhappy and alone. I decide to leave my lover. She cries, and now I have no home. The city fades to black. I rest at my cousins'. They have worked it out, but they are not of the city breed and do not care. I cry salt and hope it will wear away to the bone, and it doesn't work. We split for 12 hours and then we get back together. I drive for an hour to be with her. I want to go home the next weekend. I will tell her. I start to panic. How do I tell her? I have two mouths, one that tells her what she wants to hear, the other that says nothing. It is still acidic from my lover's bed. I ache for her touch. It's been only 4 hours. I want to share my elation with my friend, but feel as if I can't. I ache for her happiness. Mum calls and asks why. She still believes my lover is my flatmate. If only she knew my lover passed the phone over her bed. The guilt of denying family overwhelms me. I decide to forfeit my happiness and leave her again. My lover is growing weary. She rolls over and waits for my return. She knows me by now. I wander down Oxford Street and talk to a drag queen. My life is changing. The queen tells me all I need to hear. I buy him a beer at the Aubrey. We watch a pretty boy do a floor show. He whistles and curses his legs that go to the sky. I laugh and can only dream. I see someone being wheeled in. Two men gather around him, kneel at his chair and smile. He tries to smile back, but he has pain written on his face. His blanket slips to the ground and the sludge of many spilled drinks. Men hurry to help him. I look at him with sadness in my eyes. He catches my gaze and he offers a small wave in the face of his disaster. He motions me over to him and I go cautiously. The others see me approaching and form a wall of guard, but he pushes me through. I recognise him as I get closer. He is not the same. Once strong and popular, A country boy, he played rugby. Now he would find it hard to hold a ball. We're in the same class at school. He reaches out to me and I take his hand, not sure what to do or say. The lights get hot and sweaty, the music louder. I lean in to hear what he's saying and he smells like a hospital. Memories of my yellow father in white sheets dying flood back. It's the antiseptic. I want to throw up. The room starts to spin and I go white. He asks if I can take him into the piano room. I oblige and there it is, quieter and cool. The piano man starts singing Country Roads and I start to get depressed. I miss her. He asks about home and his family and I gather they still do not know. He says he will call soon. He wants to see them before I talk about something else. He asks after my family and we used to be close, but it's hard to talk to him now. His friends come to find him and take him home. He asks me to visit him in hospital and I say sure, but I never make it. I see his photo in the Star a couple of weeks later. I wonder if he called home. I drove home that weekend after seeing my lover. She wanted to come, but I said next time. I drove along the familiar country roads, my hatch empty, with just an overnight bag beside me. My mother is overjoyed to see me. The dog jumps up and rests his paws on my shoulders. My brother just says hello. I can't understand his despondency. I go into my room and see nothing has changed. Out the back, Mum shows me the new paving she's laid around the pool and offers me a cold drink. I said I would get it myself. I already feel like a guest. Has it only been away? Has it been 6 months already? Mum asks me about my career and I tell her it's going okay. I work 2 jobs now and money is tighter than before. She asks after my lover, thinking she's my flatmate. I try to be indifferent when I tell her she is fine. She smiles. I think she knows. I feel as if I'm in a Nescafe ad, still sitting on that kitchen bench, swinging my legs against the brown cupboards. She's drinking coffee. I have found a Diet Coke. I take a deep breath. Mum, I've met someone special. That's nice, dear. And it's her. There's a long pause. She lights a cigarette. I feel the vein in my head about to explode. Those seconds seem to stop. I watch the cigarette smoke curl up and around the expensive light fitting. I noticed it was becoming discoloured with age, just as I am. She exhaled and suddenly a smile crept across her face. And I'm Presbyterian, so what, was her reply. I turned 24 that year.
What a beautiful story. I think we can safely declare, Steph, you are a writer. Yes. We all now know you as a writer, and that was a beautiful, beautiful rendition of your coming out. And yeah, very beautifully written, very sweet. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Just stunning. Well, my friends, we are going to take a little break. We have food ready to go and available from Jamaican Delights, so please help yourself. We're going to take about a 10-minute break and then come on back. We're going to get into the second part of this evening, which is the panel and asking your questions. So be brave, take a deep breath, get ready to do this. Can everyone just do this for a minute? Okay, right. Yes, your arms are working. Excellent. So when we come back, we'll get ready to raise those hands and fire away and ask your questions. Thank you so much. we're going to have invite our panel speakers back up onto the stage. So if you were a speaker or if your name is Jeremy, please make your way to the stage. After this, we will also have some beautiful entertainment before we finish the night out. So you are in for a treat, my friends. Great, yeah, grab a seat. Grab a seat. We need more seats. It's for you. I mean, what? I wasn't listening. No, you sit there if you want. Or go to the tall one. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for bringing your attention back here. I want to remind everyone that this is a safe space. So we're going to be opening up for questions of our panel here, and you really can ask any question. Do we have permission here to be asked any question? Okay, you heard it here, live from the panel. Please come up, Steph. Yes. Steph's been shopping. Please come up. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we're getting one more chair. Here we go. Yeah, here's a low one. Yeah. Bring out all the spare chairs. Now, you may see a face that you haven't met before in our panel. So if your name is Jeremy, please wave. Yes, everybody welcome Jeremy Ma, please, to the stage. Let me tell you about Jeremy. Born in the 1970s, Jeremy knows what it's like to grow up as a gay mixed-race kid in Australia. Now a proud father of a 3-year-old with his partner David, Jeremy is experiencing very different kinds of attitudes on the other side of the fence. Working in the field of social change, Jeremy is keen to share his story and answer any questions in the hope of building on the great advances we have made as a community. So thank you so much, Jeremy, for being here. Do you want to say a little hi into the microphone there? Abby, if you could pass that along. Good. That was a test.
Hello. Oh. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't tell my story before is because I thought it was really boring and that no one actually want to hear it. So I thought I'd leave it for you guys to just ask as many questions, hard-hitting questions as you like.
Okay, we've got permission for the hard-hitting questions. You've had time to eat your dinner. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for creating that space now. You've had time to have dinner and collect your thoughts, take a deep breath. All together now. Who's got those hands that are working? Raise your hands, everybody. Let's all do a practice. Raising your hands. Yes, I can see you all. Excellent. Good. Who has a question that you would like to ask the panel? I know. Who wants to go first? Malaika, please. Can I have the mic for our friend here? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. I had a question for, I'm sorry, I forget your name. Abby. What was it like coming out to your family and talking about being in an open kind of polyamorous sharing relationship, and how has that progressed for you in your relationship?
Excellent question. Thank you.
I'm going to try and keep this brief, but it was an interesting one just to decide whether I even wanted to share that side of me, because it doesn't change my relationship status. And we're still on that journey deciding, are we poly, are we open? I'm not quite sure, but I knew that this was a side of me. And I've got independently 2 very close relationships with my parents who are separated. And yeah, I think that there was just this moment where I was like, I love them deeply, and I know that they would want to know about that side of me and for me to be open. Now, one of the pieces, it was interesting, so I listened to this podcast. It was actually a podcast about a throuple, and they were talking about how the challenge of coming out to your parents is that you are sexualizing yourself in front of your parents. And it actually, and when I was saying, I'm this is not changing my relationship. I don't know what this means, but I wanted to let you know. Felt like I was like really sexualizing myself. But it helped for me to go in and say, no follow-up questions, please. There will be no follow-up questions. And I think that there's sometimes a tendency to go, oh, but how does that? It's like, no, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know about this part of me. If you have a statement or about yourself that you want to share with me, or a recognition, or someone that you know, I'm so happy to be a sounding board. But I will share when I feel like it's right to share. And I actually invited them along to listen. Hi, Mom and Dad. They're there. To listen along to the story. So I think they were quite pleased to be able to go on that journey there as well.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Who else has a question? Yes, my friend. Please.
Came out and told him that you're bisexual because obviously you weren't ready, but then you said he became one of your greatest supporters, and I'm really interested to hear, how did that shift happen? Is there a story, or did it just magically happen? I don't think it magically just happened, so I'm really curious to see how your brother went from, I'm going to beat you up and send you to hospital, to one of your greatest supporters.
Thank you.
Good question. Do what he said he was going to do. And I was like, oh, mate, I have something to tell you. I have a boyfriend. And it was my first kind of out boyfriend. And he was like, oh, yeah, about time you found someone. And that was it. So I think he went away. He had to think about it. I was still his brother. We still interacted as we normally would, even after that conversation. And yeah, he must have thought about it, and now he's the one that goes out and, educates other people around what it means to be inclusive, and yeah, couldn't be prouder of him and his journey. And I share my story a few times, and I have called him up a few times and said, hey mate, just letting you know, I'm going to tell this story again. I know I keep bringing it up, but he's like, nah, it happened. Like, that's true, but as long as you tell them that I love you no matter what, and my kids love you, and you are family. And that's why I keep telling that story, because it is so beautiful.
Thank you. Who's got a burning question? Yes, please. I'll run the mic.
Hi everyone. Especially Mardi Gras gets overtaken by a lot of corporate sponsors these days. Do you guys feel there's a good way for businesses, particularly bigger corporations, to actually be an ally and a sponsor in these events?
I want to pass it to Steph. Steph has raised their hand. Thank you, Steph.
Yes, there is. There's much better ways of corporates to be involved in Pride. I think having been on that board of Mardi Gras for a long time, we cannot avoid not having sponsors. We need the cash, right? It's just a fact of life. If we want to have the festival, the size of the parade costs millions of dollars for the organisation, but we need the sponsors. But what I've seen especially in diversity and inclusion in companies in the last, say, 5 years is really they want to actually have authentic and impactful interactions with community, and not just slap a rainbow on their logo. And I know at Capgemini last year during Pride, our global campaign was, what have you done lately for your community? And we just gave a lot of money to community groups because we didn't want to just be seen pinkwashing. So that's from my work point of view. I think we can get better as a community as holding our brands to account that are sponsoring us. Ask, before you buy a rainbow T-shirt, ask where the profits of that rainbow T-shirt are going to, and ask where the profits of these big sponsorships and what organisations are they actually supporting. Take a look at the brands around WorldPride right now. Make sure they're doing the right thing by our community groups, not just WorldPride and Mardi Gras, but the community groups, and actually making an impact on our community. And you're the one that has to ask the question.
Yes, please.
Thank you for that. I heard you say about inclusion, and I was curious if any of you, really, all 5 of you, if possible, what it would mean to be inclusive in, large corporates that you're talking about that are, putting large checks on tables, but what do they do inside organizations, and how does that feel to be an inclusive organization?
So many corporates do have different groups within inside of their companies, and sometimes it can be very challenging to construction company, and we're playing around with the idea. I'm saying, along with a couple of other gays in the village, as we say at work, this needs to happen. And as truly as I can go to work authentically as an Aboriginal woman, why can't I go to work and represent my intersectionality as a gay woman who is Aboriginal, a nana, a sister, and all those sort of things? And that's the biggest challenge, is that corporates need to understand the concept of intersectionality. They seem to think it's a funny word because of the way it sounds. So I think, and as Steph said, what is it really related to your corporate social responsibility? It's not just a sponsorship certificate that you have on the wall, because your gays in the village, if I just use that term, will call you out. So, and that's the other thing, is it's around the safety, and that's what I relate it to working in a construction industry, is that you want your workers to come to work, feel safe, culturally safe, and you want them to go home to their families and still be safe. So for me, it's a no-brainer. So I sort of talked a little bit around the space there, but yeah.
Can I just take that one step further? We have great diversity programs, we have great inclusion programs, but we really need our employees to feel they belong. And belonging is a completely different thing to inclusion, right? You can include everybody, but they may not feel they belong. And we need to look at what are the rules of belonging in our companies, in our corporations, but also in all of our communities, and what are the passed on laws and customs and ways of belonging to a company do we need to break so that everyone feels they belong and everyone feels like they can actually be authentic. And we've got a long way to go as an industry to actually get to a state of real belonging.
Thank you. Over here. Hey everyone, I want to talk about pronouns, if we can, and just the challenges that come with pronouns, because it's real, and even myself, as a neurodiverse queer person, remembering somebody's name is really hard for me. And then remembering pronouns is even harder. So what advice would you give to people who have been preconditioned with a binary options of pronouns to work towards being inclusive within the way that they communicate with people? And what to do if you consistently get it wrong?
Right. Go on.
I reckon there's nothing wrong with getting it wrong, because how else are you going to learn, right? So I'll leave here and I'll probably ask my fellow panellists what their name is 3 times before I leave here tonight, but hopefully I won't. But I think it's I think the more that we practice this and do it, we make it normal, and that's the way I see it. Yeah. So I don't know if that has helped, but we just keep doing it until we get it right.
Yeah. It's a really tricky question, I think. And my experience, though, in relation to that kind of, I suppose, the fear factor that people might get it wrong is far from, at least my experience out in the suburbs, Ashfield, not that far away. But I've spent a lot of time living in Newtown, and it's kind of a bubble in a way, where people sort of think and and say the same things, and we have wonderful conversations. But you know, just the other day, you know, one of the parents at my daughter's daycare complained that their son was being dressed up in a tutu because he was afraid that his son was going to be made gay from wearing a tutu. And he was also concerned that he had a private conversation with one of the carers there, and his thoughts are that gay men are pedophiles. So this kind of thinking, which for us is like way back in the, you know, the dinosaur age, is actually where a lot of just the heteronormative community is at. They're still struggling with that kind of thinking that gay people are pedophiles and are going to ruin society, even if they do get marriage equality, for example. So the whole idea of pronouns is like another kind of layer which, you know, we need to keep on pushing, definitely, but also I think there's a kind of, I suppose, realization that a lot of just normal people, they're not exposed to these kinds of things on a daily basis, and they struggle with what we would consider basic human rights, and yeah.
I definitely agree there is a lot of stereotypes and things that we do need to challenge. On the, I guess, point of pronouns, back to the previous question around what can organisations do, that's where education comes in, and providing that education and accessible education regularly, not just once off a year because it's Ida Hobbit, let's get Pride and Diversity and run an hour session. Regular sessions and ongoing, and providing a space where people can ask questions like, what happens if I get it wrong? What happens if I do X, Y, and Z? Why do pronouns matter? These are pieces of information that people need to connect that bridge between, well, why should I learn someone else's pronouns if it's different to what I interpret them to be when they come, what I assume them to be. But also that's why pronouns on email signatures is really important, and pins and, you know, all of those signs of visibility, because it creates a bit more of awareness when you do a presentation or when you're in a meeting. Introduce yourselves with your pronouns. Like, it normalizes the conversation, and that's where that shift happens. It's not going to happen overnight. No one's going to get it right all the time and be 100% perfect. I've screwed up sometimes, and it's about apologizing, recognizing the mistake, and ensuring that you don't make that mistake ongoing and ongoing and ongoing, because that speaks to a deeper issue. But practice does make perfect, and acknowledging it, you will get better at it. Don't beat yourself up too much.
Thank you, Nick. Just a little bit, yeah, just a little bit of beating yourself up. No, don't do that. Thank you, Nick. Just me and Nick. So, yeah, and I just wanted to add to that, that's a interesting conversation and an important conversation, and we're gathered here tonight. There's all of us from different walks of life and different identities, and as an ally, one of the things that you can do is put your pronouns on your Zoom, you know, next to your name on Zoom, on your email signature, you know, make that visible, take that stand, put it on LinkedIn, put it on your profiles, and that starts the conversation. So everything's a conversation. We can get things rolling. So we could be here all night asking questions and, you know, finding out more from our amazing panelists. And we have an incredible piece of entertainment for you. And so I want to move on gracefully and gently into our next piece, which is to welcome Malaika Mfalme up onto the stage. And as Malaika is making their way up, please thank our panelists tonight for being here. And I'm sure they'll all be open to more questions at the end of the night. If you'd like to ask them individually, you can go ahead and do that as well. So thank you very much to everybody up here on the stage. We so appreciate you. Please take your chairs with you. Thank you. So helpful. Teamwork makes the dream work, hey? Now, was there anyone who had a burning question that you didn't get answered tonight? Be proud. Ooh, yes, we have one here. Anyone else had a burning question that you didn't get answered? Yes, at the back as well. Okay. Good, good. Go on, let's hear. What was your burning question? Just curious.
I actually wanted to ask Steph, after such a beautiful story, where is Steph? Are you still with your lover? Is the love still alive? No. Good to hear.
There have been many since. A woman to that. Okay, and our friend over here. What was your question, my friend? Oh, can we get you to speak into the mic, my friend? I know. Thank you.
My name's Dennis, and I'm a mental health peer worker with my colleague Kat, and we actually work out of this building in the Working Kind Collective. We've just moved in from One Door Mental Health. So we work with a lot of marginalised people, and we have more numbers in LGBTQI plus people as mental health clients than we probably would see in the national average. But we're sitting here in a bubble talking about inclusion. I'd like to talk about exclusion, but the rest of the panel have now gone, because I can tell you a lot of our clients don't feel a part of a community. One, because of probably mental illness. But I came out in the 80s. I'm from the western suburbs of Sydney. I came out during an epidemic. And one, I felt uncomfortable when I hid coming from the western suburbs back then. So there are many reasons why people can feel excluded, and I believe there's racism in our community, and that doesn't get talked about. There is. So and I would have liked to have asked you what your experience of that was. And sorry, I didn't quite catch your name because it wasn't up on the thing and you weren't. Jeremy. I was going to say Jason, but Jeremy. So I know that that's an issue, and it doesn't. I've seen it. I don't know whether it's changed, but as a gay man that went to bars in the 90s, the treatment of Asian people, like yourself, standing in the corner at the Oxford, and I've seen the racism. So it's uncomfortable. So we're all sitting here being really nice and saying, oh, look at this, but we are part of the bubble. It's like a whole lot of people that vote left sitting in a room clapping. I'm not taking away from what's happening, but it is. Let's talk about the people who are excluded. The people from the Joy's King, and the other one, the people in the refugees. Yeah. Anyway, there.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's a very, very important point and something that is important to talk about. Jeremy, please, would you like to come up and... Yeah, just while Malaika's setting up.
I'll just give a very quick answer to that. Actually, the vast majority of the discrimination that I've faced has come more from the racism than the fact of being gay. I suppose I grew up in a relatively wealthy, educated family, so that wasn't too much of an issue. Growing up in 80s, 90s, gay Sydney, where the white, straight, acting guy was the epitome in terms of aesthetics. That was difficult, like you mentioned. I feel that has changed slightly. It's better. But I've actually faced recently more discrimination from actually the gay community in having a child. So, I've had a lot of kickback and I've lost friends. Actually, it's kind of like, you've gone to the other side of the fence kind of situation. So, it's not all roses. Even my mother said when I told her that we were trying to have a child, she'd go, why would you want to do that? Like, why would you do that? You would never say that to a woman who is announcing that they're having a child. So, it's really interesting, and I think exclusion is probably a really good sort of term that you sort of use there. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Are you ready to go, my friend? Okay. Malaika, would you like to add anything to the conversation while you're here, my friend?
Yeah, a lot's been spoken about. I think you added a lot of value by talking about the racism and lack of intersectionality within the queer community, it is a problem. And I don't know, as a Black queer person, I don't really know what to do about that. I think the best that we can do is to just try and support the people that are most marginalized within our community. Indigenous people, Black people, people of color, trans people, genderqueer people, people who've been hurt in ways that white people can never even imagine. And that's the way that we step forward, and not by asking your Black friends, oh, what can I do, what can I do? It's research, it's taking matters into your own hands, it's taking other people's lives and doing what Chris and Danica do, donating, holding space, just listen. That's a way that we can move forward as individuals and not put it on the masses to do. That's everybody's work to do. Everybody in here, we can do that work together. All right, let's hear some music. We acknowledge, 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 we acknowledge the traditional owners of this land. We acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge. We recognize the continuing connection to land, waters, and community. We acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge. We extend our love and respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in this space. We acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge. We respect Indigenous people, Indigenous culture, and elders past, present, and emerging. We acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge. We respect the Gadigal land on which we stand and recognize. We acknowledge, we acknowledge, we acknowledge. Sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded. Sovereignty was never ceded, 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 always were, always will be. Sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, always were, always will be. Sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, always were, always will be. Sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded, sovereignty was never ceded. Thank you. So my name is Malaika Mfalme. In my mother tongue, Swahili, this means angel king. I am non-binary, I am Black, and I am beautiful. And I'm here for you to sing some songs from my soul. This first song is about our sweet mother, Mother Nature. Mother cares not of our race, nor creed, nor gender identity. She is here for us and loves us no matter what. This song is called Mother. it don't fight fair. Oh, I can't fight this pain that runs so wild. I can't fight the rain, the wind and storms. But Mother Nature tells me, she warns me not to feel so take me home. Maybe I could fight the fear, maybe I could fight the loss with Mother by my side. Maybe I could fight the fear, maybe I could fight the loss with Mother by my side. Maybe I could fight the fear, maybe I could fight the loss. Mother, take me home. Maybe I could fight the fear, maybe I could fight the loss. Mother, take me home. Mother, take me home. Thank you so much, everybody. This next song is about the relief that comes with being known and loved. And I just want to thank you all for being community and loving and sharing here tonight. This song is called Relief. Thinking I should spare you knowing me and all my pain and grief. Or should I tell you bits of me? Careful, should I be discreet? Should I tell you more than I normally would? A lover I can confide in. Should I just tell you my old stupid lies? And I don't wanna use you like the other drugs I do. 'Cause make my heart leap, I don't wanna hurt you. I don't wanna use you like the other drugs I do. 'Cause give my heart a break, a sweet pain relief. Feeling the joy and pain, feel the laughter, hear the tears. I'm hesitant to shed my fears. I wanna be a better man and be a bit more trusting, but I'm a little jaded, my old heart is rusted, and I don't wanna use you like the other drugs I do. Just make my heart leap, I don't wanna hurt you. I don't wanna use you like the other drugs I do. Give my heart a break, a sweet pain relief. touch me, I feel maybe it's possible. Maybe I'm lovable. Maybe there's hope after all. When I'm with you, I feel relief. Thank you so much for loving and feeling and being with me tonight. My name is Malaika Mfalme, and these are the Kings of Joy. Our wonderful Danica Lani had the incredible idea to help choreograph some beautiful moves to one of my songs. So. This song is a song I wrote as a love letter to my younger self. I struggled a lot when I was younger, especially in my teens, and something that was always kind to me was soul music. Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone, Bob Marley. Yeah, they got me through some hard times, and so I wrote this song as an ode to soul and an ode to myself, and I'd like to dedicate it to all of our younger selves in this space tonight, who got us where we needed to be. This song's called Younger. If I met my younger self, I'd show you how to twist your hair. Say what you learn isn't just from school, it comes from everywhere. If I met my younger self, I'd sing hallelujah, saying praise kid, you're doing so well, I promise it gets easier. Trouble comes and goes in waves, and what you love is all that stays. When the pain comes unbearable, do what mama said and sing along. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be alright, and there ain't no mountain high enough. I'll be sitting till the evening comes. If I met my younger self, we'd talk religion and the law. Being loved is nothing to fear, family waits behind that closet door. When you're lost and about to let go and it hurts, you wanna scream, but you know how to let it all go when you get up and sing. Trouble comes and goes in waves, and what you love is all that stays. When the pain comes unbearable, do what mama said and sing along. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be alright, and there ain't no mountain high enough. I'll be sitting till evening comes. You'll find someone who says you may. You'll find someone who
every little thing's gonna be alright. And there ain't no mountain high enough. I'll be sitting till evening comes. I'll be sitting till evening comes. I'll be sitting till evening comes. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to Danica Lani. Thank you to Anna Shepherd. Thank you to the Working Kind Collective and Bambhudda. And thank you to all of you for being here today. Have a beautiful night.
Who was moved? That was just beautiful. Thank you so much, Malaika. And I acknowledge our Kings of Joy as well who performed. We had Ewan Trouble and Mario Maverick on the stage. So thank you so much. And thank you lastly to our all of our panel and our sponsors again, Bambuddha, VA Media, We Are Pride channel, and here comes.
You know what's going to happen next, don't you? Please give a round of applause. For Danica Lani, who is really the mother of kings and has created such an amazing community in the Kings of Joy and Chris with the Queers of Joy. And really what Bambuddha does for the business world, Danica does for the queer world. And it's about belonging. And we hope tonight that you feel like you can belong, have a few more beverages, maybe we'll have a boogie. We don't have to tell anyone at work tomorrow that we actually had a good time at one of these events. And please give Danica, Malaika, everyone that's contributed tonight an amazing round of applause. And also for yourselves, for showing up and being vulnerable in your questions. We're going to put some tunes on. We're probably going to take all our, glad rags off or keep them on. Yeah. It's not going to get that wild, so just to manage expectations. And we'll put some tunes on. Yeah? Sound good? Awesome.